Thank you for downloading this episode of Folk on Foot. Before we start, I just wanted to share a brief message. If you like what we do, we really need your support to keep going. You can join our wonderful band of members and you'll get great rewards. These include access to our amazing Folk on Foot on Film archive of hundreds of songs shot on location on our travels around the UK and Ireland. To sign up, just go to folkonfoot.com/supportus. You'll also get an ad-free version of all our episodes and an email postcard from me each time we go on a walk. If you just want the ad-free version, it'll cost you £3 a month, and you can get it through your Apple Podcast app or at folkonfoot.com/supportus. Finally, if you don't want to make a regular commitment but do want to show how much you love us, you can simply buy us a coffee. You can also do that at folkonfoot.com/supportus. Every penny we get goes back into making more episodes of Folk on Foot. So thank you and enjoy the walk. So there I was watching Later with Jools Holland on the telly, and this remarkable woman came on who was using electronics to underpin her singing of folk songs and her fiddle playing. And she's called Frankie Archer, and I thought, I've got to meet her. So I've come to the town of Consett in the northeast of England. She lives around here, just southwest of Newcastle. And she's going to bring her electronics, and we're going to go for a walk in the countryside round here. I can't wait. Good morning, Frankie. Lovely to see you.
Morning, lovely to see you too.
Lovely to be here in Consett, and you brought us right to the bus station. We're standing under the clock.
Yep.
Is this an important place for you?
Yeah, so Consett, I've spent a lot of time hanging around there when I was littler, but when I got to a certain age, I was allowed to go to Newcastle, Gateshead. So the bus station is important for us because where I would kind of escape to the big city to get my music, to busk, to go to Sage or Glasshouse and play there, and to go and see gigs and stuff like that. So yeah, bus station for me is like an important part of growing up and getting a bit more exploration in life.
And you said you went there to play music. When did you start playing music?
I started learning violin with like Durham County music lessons when I was about 9, I think, in school. And then I started to do folk stuff through Folkworks, through Sage, Glasshouse, probably when I was about 12.
Right, and so there was quite a youth project going on there, Folkworks. You were joining lots of other young people. Yeah,
it was huge, and it still is. They've still got the folk band, Folkestra there, and that was a huge influence for me.
Was there anything in your family background about music?
No, just no, not really. I think apparently my great-granddad had a violin, but I don't know if he could play it. I think my granddad on my mum's side did some singing in a choir at some point, but I'm not from a family of musicians.
Right.
And but they're very encouraging.
They encouraged you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they were happy when you were practicing the fiddle at home?
Yeah, they were very, very encouraging. Probably if it wasn't for them, I might not have made it through, because you know how it is trying to get a 10-year-old to practice violin, or even worse, trying to get a 14-year-old to practice violin. So yeah, they're really, really very helpful.
And so what was Folkworks like? Tell us about that experience of coming together with lots of other people in Newcastle.
That was really cool. Actually, some came from Scotland, some came from Northwest, so it was really kind of wide-reaching. And it was just cool to find me little folk music nerdy clique, I suppose, because every teenager needs their little, I'm the only one who feels like this group. So yeah, maybe that was me. It was really cool. It was fun.
What was it about folk music that drew you in?
Well, when I started violin, I started learning like standard Western classical, so looking at the page, reading the dots, which is nice and still a bit exciting. But then when I learned that you could just play by listening to each other and kind of just jumping in and playing intuitively, that was really so much more fun and exciting and natural, I suppose.
And do you still feel attached to Consett as a place?
Yeah, definitely. I'm proud to be from here. The north and the northeast in particular gets a lot of kind of poverty porn kind of thing, where it's the first place on the news for some struggling town centre, and there's a load of boarded up shops, and the north, it's struggling so much. So I feel like it gets a lot of kind of stereotypical negative press. But there's also cool people and cool things happening here, and that often doesn't get too reported. So I'm very proud to be from here and to be part of a cool town.
I think you must be the coolest person I can see at the moment.
You
You come in this amazing bright blue fake fur coat and purple gloves and pink sunglasses and a purple jacket. Wow,
Yeah,
that is an amazing outfit.
I nicked the sunglasses off my mum, I have to say. She's also quite cool.
Do you like to dress colourfully?
I do. I think it's just fun. I used to be more bothered about what people thought of how I looked, and now I find it really free and having fun. I think life's too short to wear what you think you ought to wear, and I think your body and your physical presence can be like an expression of art, I suppose. That was a bit artsy smarmy, wasn't it? But there you go.
This time in the morning.
Fun, basically.
But yeah, you look great. I mean, you look fantastic, and the sun's come out now, and it's making you zing here by the bus shelter. Where are we going to go today?
So we'll go through Consett Town Centre, which is not massive, but I think the market's on. We'll see some shops.
And then are you going to take us out into the countryside?
Yeah, a little bit further into the countryside, so you don't have to go far out the town to get to the countryside. We're on the edge of the Pennines now, and we'll walk to possibly to Houndsgill Viaduct, and we might see some old remnants of the steelworks. And then we're going to go on to Sunnyside towards Newcastle, and we'll see some very, very, very old railway tracks.
The oldest railway in the world, isn't
So it claims, I think so, yeah. I mean, you can't just claim it and put it on a sign if it's not true, so...
I'm looking forward to that. Oh, that would be amazing. And you'll sing for us, I hope.
Of course.
So tell me what sort of shops there are in Consett.
Well, there's obviously Greg's.
And we're just coming inside the Derwent Centre now,
The Derwent Centre, yes. This is just like a teeny little indoor shopping centre thing. There's lots of different things going on. There's loads of charity shops where I get most of my wardrobe. And lots of bargain shops, including Barry's Bargains, which, if we can't go in, at least I would like to show you the outside of.
Why do you want to show me Barry's Bargains?
It's just wonderful. I think everybody should see Barry's Bargains once in their life.
What do they sell?
Bargains. They sell like discontinued stuff. Yeah, it's down this way. This is Consett High Street, Middle Street, whatever you want to call it. It's
There's
just had
charity
a new
shop straight away on the right.
Yeah, and there's two behind us as well.
Okay.
And there's about
You
four
spend a lot
ahead.
of time in there.
Yeah, can get all sorts. Find the most random things.
Oh, there's Barry's.
Barry's, yes, you've spotted it.
Now you've had the big build-up, I really want to go and see it.
We'll have to go inside. Shall we each buy something from Barry's?
Okay, let's go and buy something.
Okay. So yeah, here it is. Just everything you could
everything
possibly
piled
want.
up here, like
Yeah, it's like a warehouse kind of thing. But
Snickers,
yeah,
Snowballs, dairy milk, Maltesers. From
Peaches,
floor
baked
to head height, fudge. God, you could
we're
get.
only in the sweet section so far. This is just chocolate. So basically, just everything's really cheap. I don't know where they get it from, but it's
Rice,
bargain
ketchup, cooking sauces. Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? It's like a sort of Aladdin's cave.
Yeah, sometimes you come in for, those, see, that's an example. There's these cereal bars which you get for like £1.50 somewhere else. 3 for £1.
Wow.
Bargain.
Yeah.
You don't have to feign excitement, it's all right.
I'm not. I am quite excited. I'm like a kid in a sweet shop.
Non-alcoholic peach Bellini, 80p for a 4-pack.
Can't go wrong, can you?
We should have brought a trolley, to be honest.
So did you used to just hang about here when you were, at school or whatever?
Yeah,
did
pretty
you and
much.
your mates hang out here?
Yeah.
How was it to hang out in?
It's all right, I suppose. It's nice because there's bits of green spaces around as well, which is one of the upsides of a kind of semi-rural town, I suppose.
And there used to be a big steelworks here, didn't there?
They did, yeah. It got shut down. It was shut down by Margaret Thatcher's government in 1980, and
Thousands
basically
of jobs went.
it was the employer. It's kind of the reason that the town exists, you know. It's the reason that it became so big. So lots of people were employed by the steelworks, and then it got shut down, people got made redundant, and then weren't kind of supported into other work afterwards.
And did that affect your family?
My dad worked in the steelworks for a year. So he came out of school when he was 16 and worked in the steelworks. But then he got made redundant a year after, because that's when it got shut down. So yeah, he did get made redundant, but he was still very young and managed to find other work.
Right. So where are we going to go to now?
So there's lots of different little kind of country routes and cycle paths towards the Pennines. And hopefully, if it's in the place that I remember it, we're going to see a kind of crucible or a ladle for carrying molten iron that was used in steelworks.
That would be amazing, and that's still there as a sort of monument to the steelworks, is it?
Yeah, there's not much left physically afterwards, but that is one of the things that remains.
Let's go.
Cowslips.
We just spotted some beautiful cowslips. Here, yellow cowslips on the right, as we're walking up towards the disused crucible, I suppose, the abandoned crucible.
Yes, this is part of the coast-to-coast cycle path. And I think a lot of these paths are made up from old kind of railway lines. This one actually, I'm sure, used to take limestone, I think, to South Shields.
And here it is, just round this corner.
Perfect.
Yeah. So it's a truck, a railway truck, in rust-coloured steel with a crucible in the centre of it, which looks as though it must have been able to be pulled up to the steelworks. Steel would have been poured out of it, I suppose.
So it will be in the blast furnaces where iron ore will be melted down, and then this crucible will be filled with iron, molten, which could then be transported to the actual steel plant.
And it's just here alongside the cycle track, I suppose, as a memorial or a memory of the heavy industry that used to be so dominant in this area.
Yeah, I guess so.
Is this a place to sing a song, Frankie?
Yeah, I'm going to actually, it's like, what, how tall would you say? It's like 12, 13, 14 foot?
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can go inside. I don't know if I'm allowed, but I'm going to have a look.
What, climb up?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I hope our insurance's premiums are up to date.
I mean, I don't know if you can get up there as well with it. I'm going to see. It looks like it might be filled in, but I'll have a little look.
Okay. Good luck.
I'm sure I've seen kids up there and stuff.
You're like a mountaineer going up there, looking for handholds and very fast. You climb a lot of things.
I think I did hold some kind of record. I think it was in the Discovery Museum or something in Newcastle. They had one of those turning, climbing walls. And I'm sure I held the record for that. And my parents were like, for God's sake, Frankie, get down now. We've been here 20 minutes. But I don't really climb. I just don't know. I was a goat in another life.
Yeah, you were. Definitely.
Guard your man well through the night. Hold him till dawn's early light. For come the long day, you'll be far away. Deep down in the rock, far from sight. Love him while he's still at home, for mining work's always the same. A stone from the slick could fall out so quick, and in blood there is written his name. Sit with your bairns and your man, give him, lass, all that you can, and come the long day, send your thoughts far away. How things in the pit might gan run. He'll work his shift and get by, come out from the dark to the sky, for mining's his trade, and of pit stock he's made, and a wife must learn never to cry.
That was amazing and just astonishing to see how you manipulated your own voice to make those electronic sounds. It makes it sound almost industrial, doesn't it, to have that electronic backing.
I guess so.
Tell us about how you first started doing this.
Well, first of all, this is my sampler sequencer that I've got here on the table. First of all, this was just a way that I could play live by myself, because the music that I started to write and arrange had different layers of things in, so it was physically impossible for me to play it solo. So I thought, oh well, I'll get this piece of kit that looks like it does what I want it to do. I'll see what happens. And then I started just diving into manipulating sound basically and using electronics, and it's totally changed the way that I arrange and perform and everything.
So it's an integral part of the creative process now.
Yeah.
When you're composing a song or arranging a song, the electronics start right at the beginning rather than coming in later in the process.
Pretty much. I mean, it can be like some people use sheet music, some people use voice notes on the phone, some people could use a program on a laptop, but this can kind of do similar stuff to all of those things. It's just a way of recording and building on the music that's in your head. So yeah, not for every single song, but for most things I would start with this. Yeah.
And let's talk about the song, because it's a wife whose husband is down the pit, worrying about what might go wrong, what might happen to him. Yeah,
so mining songs, there's so many songs about the horrors of doing the hard labour and mining disasters, and yeah, rightly so, there are lots of songs about that, but this one's from the perspective of the partner, of the wife, who is, I suppose, at home and only can worry until he comes back, because mining disasters were very common in the UK anyway. And yeah, it's kind of the burden of that, being stuck worrying all the time.
Is it quite an emotional song to sing?
It can be. It depends on each time you perform it, it's different, but yeah, it's quite a heavy song. I do lots of heavy songs.
And it's a song singing it right in front of this industrial relic that takes on a kind of resonance, doesn't it? Have you sung it outside before?
No, I've not sung it anywhere like this before.
Yeah.
No.
And I wonder if it takes on a different resonance for you when you think about it in this landscape.
Well, actually what was going through my head was it's kind of a stark contrast with the bird song. It's odd to have that in the background, because for me, I don't really with me music anyway, I don't get inspiration from rural landscapes and nature. It's all beautiful and very important, but it's not for me where the soul of my songs come from. So it was interesting to hear it in that context.
Where does the soul come from?
The souls of the songs are the stories, are the people in them, and what they've been through and what it means for us today. And I'm not just singing a song about when times were so hard in the UK and people used to die in the mines all the time, but it's fine now. Heavy industries going on around the world. People aren't dying in mines in the UK anymore, but it's happening around the world. So yeah, we've got to remember that it's not just rose-tinted nostalgia about times gone by here. These songs are relevant everywhere. He'll work his shift and get by, come out from the dark to the sky, for mining's his trade, and of pit stock he's made, and a wife must learn never to cry.
So there's several useful signs here. There's a colourful one behind us here which says it's 1.5 miles to Consett, 9 miles to Rowland's Gill. I think if we go round this way, it's 13 miles to Durham, and 4.5 miles to Lanchester and a mile to Bury Edge. Where are we going?
We're going the one that you didn't read out. We're going in that direction.
All right, no, that's Wascally.
Towards Wascally and Allen Heads, yeah. So that's towards the Pennines.
Okay, let's go.
Since we've been talking about Consett and the Steelworks, Bury Edge is now quite a big housing estate, and it's on part of the site of the steelworks. So that was for a long time just like a slag heap from the steelworks. And now there's loads of houses there and people living in them.
And do you, when you're singing these songs about the past, do you feel a connection with them because of coming from this area, because of the history of this area?
Yeah, slightly. I mean, it depends. You can get a bit existential, like I've never done any hard labour, you know, I'm singing mining songs, but I don't know what it's like to be a miner. So in ways I kind of think, what's the difference me singing it or anybody else? But it's definitely part of me family history, so I do feel kind of a bit more connected to it in that way, I suppose.
Well, because I come from Sheffield, which is a big steel city, and my father worked for the steel corporation, but he was a research chemist, so he wasn't getting his hands dirty.
Yeah.
But definitely in my bloodstream, you know, my grandfather was in the steelworks, and because of that heritage, I definitely feel a connection back to that heavy industry, and I just wondered if you felt some of that.
Yes, I suppose, but I don't know. It's complicated for us because I'm very aware of the struggles that previous generations have had to go through for me to be able to not do any of that stuff and not have to work in any kind of heavy industry and to choose what I want to do in my life, basically. So I do feel connected to it, yeah. At the same time as feeling slightly disconnected because of that, but it is in me past, yeah, me family. Just having the fields and the trees framed through the bridge there. Very nice.
It's amazing, isn't it, to be out in the countryside so quickly from the town.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Beautiful countryside too.
It is absolutely gorgeous. And it's nice and clear today, which I was hoping for. It's cold still, but you can see for a long way. And
there are lots of signs of spring on there because the buds are coming out in the hedgerows and the dandelions are out in that field.
Yeah, the hawthorns I think just about coming out now, the blossom. And cowslips, as we saw before. There's all sorts of flowers popping up, which is really gorgeous.
And we're going to go underneath this railway bridge, a disused railway line. Stanhope and Tyne, 1832 to 1991, it says on a plaque there on the mighty bridge that we're going underneath.
Yeah, so I think this was used, like I said, for limestone.
So there you were in folkworks. I'm just interested in how your musical life then developed from that early experience.
There was some little meanders in my life, and then I came back and kind of decided that I was ready to step out as a musician a few years after all that. So
what sort of age were you then?
So late 20s.
Right, and what made you decide that you were ready?
I don't know exactly. I just thought, yeah, this is something that I'm happy to share with everybody. I'd been playing lots of different music, writing lots of different stuff in different styles, and then I kind of figured out exactly what was me, I suppose.
So what was the first foray that you made? Where did you go and play?
The very first gig I did was in an amazing venue. I'm totally going to shout about this venue because it's one of my absolute favourites, called Cobalt Studios in Newcastle. I was very fresh and I had just started to get to grips with the technology that I was talking about. And it was a beautiful gig. It's an independent venue. It's run by people with wonderful souls and hearts who work very hard. And it's got just a massive range of things on. It's got some folk, obviously, kind of indie, punk. They do kind of poetry, they do open mics, they do things like life drawing, workshops, lots of community stuff. They do club nights, they do jazz funk world stuff. They've also got a night called Fresh, where for your ticket you get to see the gig and you get like fresh homemade food.
Wow.
You don't have to cook that night, and the food is so good. So yeah, Cobalt Studios in Newcastle, get yourself there.
Sounds fantastic.
It's really good.
And do you get a kind of open-minded audience there as well? Because the audience is presumably used to an eclectic mix of different kinds of music.
Yeah, exactly, that's it. People kind of trust the venue, I suppose, to pick interesting, good acts. Yeah, people are up for anything.
And what was the reaction to you coming out and singing the songs in the innovative way that you do with the electronics?
Funnily enough, there were some like younger lasses there, and a couple of them said, "Oh, it's so good that you're doing this folk music, because like nobody else is doing it, are they?" And so I was thinking, well, they're just not doing it in places like this. So it did show us quite how folk music world is kind of a bit of a bubble, you know. It sometimes can be a bit insular, so that's why I like to exist within that and out of it as well.
And do you think that you're reaching out to people of your generation to listen to the music? Because often it's people of my generation that are in the audience at folk gigs rather than younger people. I wonder if you're bringing new people to hear it.
Yeah, maybe, we'll see. I suppose so, yeah.
Now, where are we now?
So now we're on the Houndsgill Viaduct. What can we see? We're looking up kind of towards Rowley, and then if you keep going in that direction, you'll get to like Darlington, I guess, a bit more south, and then Wascley up that way. If you go in that direction, well, that's Northumberland over there, and underneath there's the valley.
It's basically a country view, isn't it? I mean, it's a view of hills over to the north there, but with the houses just encroaching and some kind of industrial buildings just encroaching into the left of the view. And then this extraordinary iron structure on top of the viaduct, which is amazing. It's like sort of two sides of iron fencing, which curves over the top.
It's like ribs, like giant ribs enclosing the way along the viaduct. They're pretty new. I think they were put in like 15 years ago or something like that. But before then, you can see the original rails, which come up to like chest height, maybe a bit lower. So really, really sadly, people do jump off here to end their lives. And I think the steel kind of, the ribs or whatever, is an extra deterrent to try and save some people's lives, hopefully. Yeah, it's a very high bridge.
And it's a big drop below, isn't there? Mm-hmm. An amazing view. Thank you for bringing us here. Yeah. Where should we go now?
Let's go Sunnyside. We'll go Tanfield Railway next.
Okay, to the railway.
So we're at Tanfield Railway, which, so it says on the sign, is the oldest railway in the world.
The oldest railway in the world?
The world's oldest railway, look, it says just over there.
And I think that the reason for that is that it started before there were steam trains or anything like that. It started with horse-drawn wagons.
1725, so it says on the sign just there.
And still running?
Yeah, it's on occasionally. They put a steam train on for kind of leisure.
Pleasure trips?
Leisure trips.
I think if we walk down here we can get into the engine shed. Should we try that?
Yeah.
There's some lots of disused trucks here, and quite a complicated set of sidings actually. Lots of points, lots of track going in different directions, and then a set of 5 trucks in front of us, and then the shed behind. So it definitely looks, you know, like quite a complex railway setup here, doesn't it? Like a terminus of some sort.
Yeah.
And a crane there, and a very handy sign that says stop, look, listen. I don't think there's any trains coming. Oh, here is the engine shed, and the gates are open, and we can see the engines inside.
So I've never been this far.
Have
Normally I just look and I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm allowed down there, so I don't go in. But it's very cool to see the steam engines in the shed.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Are you David by any chance?
I'm not, no.
Did you know David?
Yeah, I won't find.
Would you mind? Thank you.
Oh, one of them's
Look,
steaming away, actually.
how many of these are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 engines on that side, and then on this side 3 engines. This one's called the Sir Cecil A. Cochrane, and it's green. That sort of British racing green. They're fabulous, aren't they?
They look very well maintained as well. Yeah, it's like a museum, but they actually do run, so...
And all the
cool
brass is polished, and the chrome and the pipes and so on. And they're all beautifully painted. That one over there's black and red. Number 2. Robert Stevenson and Hawthorne's Newcastle Works, 1948, this engine. Wow. And that one over there is 1911. Engineers England, Newcastle on Tyne, Leslie and Co Limited. Wonderful, aren't they?
Yeah, it smells a bit oily, kind of like, I don't know exactly, but yeah, like some kind of
coal
garage.
as well, isn't there? And look, that one's actually steaming.
Yeah.
It says National Coal Board on the side, which was the nationalised industry that ran the coal industry. So this must have been used for transporting coal.
I think most of them would have been, yeah.
Well, this is David Watchman, who's the general manager here at the railway. David, it's a fantastic place that you've got here. Can you just tell us a little bit about the history?
Yeah, certainly. So, it's a fascinating place. It's a bit of a hidden gem, really, but we should just be generally a gem. This is the world's oldest railway, so we date back to the early 1700s. A bit different to kind of how you see it today, but it was a wooden wagonway with a horse, a man sort of guiding that horse, and it was on the Tanfield branch, which is just kind of behind us. And it travelled around about 5 to 6 miles down to kind of the River Tyne.
And what were they carrying?
Coal. So basically this line was predominantly coal. As they exploited the coal near the rivers, they need to move more and more inland, need to find ways of doing that, and that's kind of when the early forms of railways, a wagonway as it was known back then, kind of came into development. So a lot of kind of your early railway history started right here around the Tanfield area. Where we're stood today in Marley Hill Engine Shed, this is probably one of the oldest engine sheds still doing what it was built for. So it was built in the 1850s, and we've spent a lot of time, volunteers and finances, kind of put it back to what it was in the 1930s.
And you've got the most amazing collection of engines here.
Yeah,
I mean, astonishing number of engines.
So yeah, our collection policy really is vehicles which were built in the northeast or worked in the northeast around the 1920s to 1950s. So a lot of these locos which were surrounded by kind of worked in this area. The one just here, Stanley, it was actually built in Scotland but was designed for East Tanfield Colliery, which is just down the road, and then spent a lot of time within this engine shed itself. So kind of what we're about is sort of that loco there. But a lot of the other locos were local collieries, shipyards, industry, and it's kind of that history which we like to portray here.
And they're all in working order?
So we've got 5 in this engine shed which are working, 2 of which will be out tomorrow, for example. There's one at the back which is called Twizel.
Is that the one that's getting up steam there?
No, it's on the left. So the one getting up steam is ready for tomorrow, so we're just warming that through. But Twizel there used to work at a Beamish Colliery, which is just down the road. We've done quite a lot of work on it, and the boiler's away getting fixed. So hopefully by the end of the year we'll have that. So yeah, we'll have 6 working steam engines in the engine shed, which is... it's amazing when you walk in and they're all sort of...
It really is, yeah,
it sort of takes you back to,
astonishing to a different age.
Yeah.
And what do you do with them now? Do you take people on pleasure trips?
Yeah, so we operate every Sunday, Bank Holiday Monday, through the main part of the year, Saturdays as well, through the summer holidays. But we do various experiences as well. It's not just kind of the train ride, but we do like footplate rides. Got our popular afternoon teas as well.
And Frankie was telling us she came here once and saw the Polar Express.
Yeah, so we operate our North Pole Express through the winter, which is a really intense operation. We have around about 10,000 people visit us in that period.
My goodness.
Lots of happy kids seeing the big man in the red suit.
And there must be a great pleasure for you in maintaining this historic collection of engines and keeping that history alive.
There is, yeah, so I'm quite keen to obviously preserve that way. I never saw these in operation. I'm going off kind of the memories of various people who did. And I started here as a youngster, 7-year-old. It was kind of an excuse for my dad to come down, really. And now kind of been in charge of this train set, I think it's really key to ensure that, the future generations, they know kind of where we come from and inspire, the next engineers and preservationists, really.
Wonderful. And Frankie's going to sing in here for us.
I want to make a complaint about the Polar Express, though.
Oh, yeah.
That you can't just buy an adult ticket, you have to bring a child with you. And I couldn't find a child, but I really wanted to go on the Polar Express.
It's funny, you know, we have groups of people like that who maybe have came, you know, as kids and, you know, they want to kind of just experience it as adults. We had a group of ladies who wanted to come down.
Or
you might have been one of them.
Just
Just
still
little
reliving
me.
your childhood. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're still in touch with your inner child.
I've got a 2-year-old if you want to borrow him any time. Like.
Right. Okay.
That's
Next
what we
year.
do next year. Fantastic, Frankie. What are you gonna sing for us here?
Now I'm going to perform Oxford City. So it's a tune not really connected to the railways or the Northeast in particular, but I thought it would be a beautiful one to perform here, especially because we've got the nice acoustics going on. So Oxford City is very well known, well recorded traditional song about, well, it could be about a jealous lover if you want to be quite rose tinted about it and nostalgic. When I'm thinking about it in terms of today and our society now, it does make us think about drink spiking and about incel culture as well. So have a close listen and see if you can hear anything buried in the song.
And you brought the fiddle
Yeah.
now, and the kit is
Yep.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Great, excellent. Let's get ready.
In Oxford City lived a lady, and she was beautiful and fair, and she was courted by a sailor, and he did love her as his dear. He said, my dear, let us get married, let us now no longer stay. I'll work for you both late and early, if you my wedded bride will be. This girl, she loved him, but at a distance she did not seem to be quite so fond. He said, my dear, you seem to slight me, I'm sure you love some other man. He saw her dancing with some other. A jealous thought came to his mind, and to destroy his own true lover, he gave to her a glass of wine. So soon she drank it, so soon she felt it. Oh, hold me fast, my dear, said she. Is it that glass of wine you give me that takes my innocent life away? That glass of wine now which I give you, that glass of wine did poison hide. For if you won't be my true lover, you'll never be no other man's bride. That glass of wine now which I give you, oh, I have drinked of the same, said he. So in each other's arms we'll die now, to warn young men of jealousy. Oh hark, the cocks are crowing, the daylight now will soon appear, and in my cold, cold grave I am going, and it's you, Willie, has called me there.
That was magnificent, Frankie,
Thank
and
you.
really quite chilling, isn't it? I mean, it's quite a dark,
Yeah.
dark story.
It is.
Are you drawn to those kind of stories?
I'm not sure why exactly I pick out the ones that I do. I just feel like I want to kind of cover them and do my version of them. I suppose this one I'm kind of drawn to it because of how old it is, but how relevant it is now.
And do you sometimes find yourself changing songs because the treatment of women is something that is notoriously bad in folk songs? Women are often the victims of attacks or violence or whatever in folk songs. Do you sometimes change the songs to give the women the upper hand?
Occasionally I do. I mean, a lot of the time, like with this one, the words speak for themselves. It's sometimes in a way down to the listener to kind of try and figure out what's going on. And a song that sings about a woman being badly treated is not necessarily condoning treating women badly, you know. It depends how you interpret it. So this one, for example, I haven't changed any of the words because you can make your own judgment about what that means. But I did do a version of Lucy One where, if you're into folk music and traditional music, you'll know the ballad. It's one of the most grim, kind of violent folk ballads.
Hast thou told our mother of this, and hast thou told of me?
A man makes his sister pregnant and then murders her when he finds out, and then runs away and gets away with it in the end.
Lucy, she saw him draw the knife that's hung down by his knee, and he has took fair Lucy's life and left her there to bleed.
So with my version of Lucy One, I have her coming back from the grave to haunt him to death, basically, just to add more grimness to the song, I suppose, but in a balanced way. So I have done that in the past, yeah.
And I notice you've got out the pedals now as well as the kit that we had earlier when we were by the crucible. So what does this pad do that you've got down by your feet?
So pedals, I have got some like guitar pedals, but I haven't got them here. This on the floor is a MIDI controller. So it's basically like a laptop-sized, quite flat black box, and it's got different little pads on and faders as well. So those, normally you're supposed to use them with your hands, but I use them with my feet, which is why I play with no shoes on. So I've got this on the floor, the MIDI controller is connected to my sampler, so I can trigger and change sounds that are on my sampler by hitting the MIDI controller or moving the faders with my feet.
And it's not doing any good for your pink socks, is it?
I know.
Being out here in the engine shed with the oil and the coal underfoot. We'll get you a new pair of socks. So where have we come to now, Frankie?
We've come to Sunnyside, and there's a certain field.
Is sunny?
It's kind of sunny, yeah. And there's a field from which you can see an absolutely stunning view of town over Newcastle and Gateshead. So that's where we are.
And I've got a huge piece of plywood here.
Yeah, you're going to do some
for?
tap dancing, aren't you?
I was thinking of getting my clogs out.
Yeah.
I thought. So is this so that you can balance your equipment on it? We're going through the gates here.
It's because I need to use my feet and I need to put my equipment on the floor. Squeaky gate. So yeah, I'm going to use the plywood as like a little teeny stage so everything's balanced on the floor.
Right, okay. So we're just coming into a field here and the ground just drops away, just going through the tractor tracks. Oh look, the view's opening up there on the left. Amazing.
And the sun is shining on the town.
It is.
It's gorgeous.
So this is Newcastle, is it?
You can see Newcastle and Gateshead here.
Yeah.
And more.
Well, there's a pheasant. And it's a panoramic view, isn't it? It's like you need one of those panoramic cameras to capture it all.
You can see all the way from like west end of Newcastle, all the way. So the trees kind of cover the kind of right edge of the panoramic view, but behind the trees, I think if you had really good eyes, you could maybe see the coast. I can see St James's Park, where my mum and dad are going to be watching the match later. I can see, yeah, there's lots of kind of shiny buildings. Newcastle's getting lots more shiny skyscrapers. I think it's a lot of kind of student buildings and accommodation, offices. I can see the Civic Centre. I can see the Utilita Arena. I can just see the Tyne Bridge, the Millennium Bridge, the Metro Bridge, and I can see Sage, or Glasshouse as it's called now.
And have you played there?
Gateshead. Not as Frankie Archer, no.
Who were you being when you played there?
So I played with an amazing musician called Rapasa Otieno. So he's like a Kenyan Geordie. So he plays traditional music from Kenya. And also that's where I played as part of Folkestra, the youth folk band based at Sage or Glasshouse when I was little.
What are you going to sing for us here?
Here I'm going to sing Elsie Marley. It's just a fun song. It's from these parts, so we can look at the view of the kind of area that it's from and hear the song at the same time.
And it's about a real person, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. So Elsie Marley, she was a landlady. Yeah, she had all the good alcohol, she had all the gossip. She was just good crack. I think there's some kind of mysterious circumstances about. She died apparently, I think in a pond or something like that. But today I'm just going to do the fun side. So yeah, this is Elsie Marley, who grew so fine she wouldn't get up to feed the swine.
Fantastic. Where shall I put the plywood?
Let's stick it down here. Do you ken Elsie Marley the lassie that sells the barley? Do you ken Elsie Marley the lassie that sells the barley hinny? She lost her pocket and all of her money, the back of the bush and the garden hinny. Elsie Marley's grown so fine, she won't get up to feed the swine. Lies in bed till 8 or 9. Do you ken Elsie Marley hinny? Elsie Marley's grown so fine, won't get up to feed the swine. Lies in bed till 8 or upon the fiddle to play the tune of Elsie Marley hinny. Do you ken Elsie Marley hinny, the lassie that sells the barley? She lost her pocket and all of her money, the back of the bush in the garden. Elsie Marley's grown so fine, she won't get up to feed the swine. Lies in bed till 8 or 9. Do you ken Elsie Marley hinny?
Fantastic. That was amazing.
Thank you.
And thank you for setting up all this gear in the middle of this ploughed field. It's absolutely
I hope
fantastic.
We're not ruining the crops.
Frankie, it's been so amazing to meet you, to hear your songs and your stories, and to see this glorious part of the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having us. It's been a beautiful day.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Folk on Foot as much as we enjoyed making it. There are over 60 episodes of Folk on Foot for you to explore, featuring amazing artists like Eliza Carthy, Johnny Flynn, The Unthanks, Corrine Polwood, Chris Drever, Sandra Kerr, Catherine Tickell and many, many more. So please do explore our back catalogue. And if you like what we do, we really need your support to keep going. You can become a member and get great rewards, or you can simply buy us a coffee. To do either, and to sign up for our ad-free version, just go to folkonfoot.com/support us. Every penny we get goes back into making more episodes, so please do support us if you can.
Hi, this is Paige from Giggly Squad, and I want to talk to you about Splash Refresher and my water intake. Okay, so you guys obviously know that I'm a hydrated girly, but sometimes when you drink that much water, it starts to just taste bland, and you're just like, I need something to spice it up. That's why I love Splash Refresher. It has 0 sugar, 0 calories, and it's a splash of sweetness. And they come in 5 different flavors. They're so good. Wild berry, acai grape, pineapple mango, lemon, and mandarin orange. My favorite is the wild berry because I just love a berry. So if you're like me and you're drinking water all day, then try Splash Refresher. It's going to absolutely change your water game, and it's good for you.
We all know Kit Kat bars taste delicious, but what about how they sound? It's not just a catchy jingle. It's the satisfying crack of breaking off a piece of Kit Kat, followed by a crisp crunch. Oh, we forgot one other sound that accompanies Kit Kat bars, too. It's... or maybe it's more like... All together, Kit Kat bars are music to our ears and yummy flavors to our mouths. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
The living room is where you make life's most beautiful memories. But your sofa shouldn't be the one remembering them. The new life-resistant, high-performance furniture collection from Ashley is designed to withstand all the spills, slip-ups, and muddy paws that come with the best parts of life. Ashley high-performance sofas and recliners are soft, on-trend, and easy to clean. Shop the high-performance furniture in-store or online at ashley.com. Ashley, for the love of home.